Régis, thanks so much for joining me here. Great to have you here, and let's talk about Limagrain a little bit.
With pleasure.
Yeah,
I know a bit about that.
You made the switch a few years back to join Limagrain. What did you notice after the change?
Well, I knew Limagrain for long because I've been in the seed business for a while, and I heard about the company and I was interested in this company. And when I arrived, in fact, even if I knew this company, I was really hit by the fact that the values of this company are really embedded by the people and by the organization. I mean, there are three core values in Limagrain: the perseverance, the cooperation, and the progress. And those three values really are making sense in the company. And, you know, very often the big companies, they have values, and when you enter or when you work for them, you don't feel like very comfortable with that. And in Limagrain, really, you feel like you live it.
Nice.
And maybe I can tell you a story. We are working on the strategic plan of Limagrain, and you know, my chairman is a farmer. It is a cooperative group. And when I ask him, what do you want for the future for Limagrain Field Seeds, so the organization I'm managing? And the answer is, I want to give as a legacy to my kids a nicer company, a bigger company, providing services to farmers. And I mean, that's the part of perseverance or long-term vision that the farmers have. And that's really motivating in this company.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So I hear you say that there is a farmer-centric approach. Yeah. They're at the basis of the company, but they're also your main customers.
Of course.
But there are millions, maybe billions of farmers. How do you reach all of those? Do you make a selection?
Well, you're right. What is important is to understand is that Limagrain is a cooperative group, so it's owned by farmers. So, okay. As I said, my chairman is a farmer, and the farmers are ruling the companies and validating and deciding the strategy. And so it gives us a very specific DNA, in fact, among the seed business. There are not many companies like that. And among the big ones, we are the only one owned by farmers. And so we understand very well the farmers because we talk to them every day. And so we understand that we have to be close to them to understand their needs and to address their needs and to provide them the products and the solution they need to succeed in their farms. Mm-hmm. And so how do we reach them? That was your question, Marcel. It depends on the countries. Our footprint is way more important in Europe than in the other countries, but we are now present in every continent. Really, we need to be close to them to understand their needs. And so we have some teams, some sales rep, like in any company, going to visit them, going to give them samples, trying to understand where they should grow this variety and in which way they should grow it. So that's the main way to do it. But in some countries, like in Africa, there are very small farmers. Same in India, for instance, where we have also a significant activity. So in those countries, we have shops, we have people able to give advice to farmers. Farmers are coming to the shop. So there are very, very different, there are many models, many different models, and we try to adapt to all of them. Of course, more and more the digital solutions are also a very good tool to reach the farmers and provide them the information about our products, our services.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love it that you guys are reaching out to the smallest ones. Yes. It's really great because not everybody is doing that. Huh? So I love this that you're doing this. Do you have some examples of that?
Well, as I said, in Seedco in Africa, Seedco is a subsidiary. It's a partnership that we have in Africa. So we have 30% of this company, and we are the main shareholder and the only one who is a seed company, a part of that. And so Seedco is in Zimbabwe, but also in the surrounding countries. And there are many small farmers in those areas. And so they have a very big network of shops to provide the products and the services to the small farmers in those countries. At the same time, in those countries, there are also big farmers, like we call commercial farmers. And that's very interesting because we are addressing both. The commercial farmers are selling the harvest. The small ones are very often growing corn or other species just to feed themselves and their families. And that's, yes, you're right. You like it, I like it too, to work for those kinds of farmers, yes.
Régis, I know that Limagrain is a global company with a lot of presence in a lot of countries. Can you share some figures? And of course, if you want, can you share your ambition for growth?
So currently, Limagrain Field Seeds is part of Limagrain Group. So Limagrain Group is approximately 2.5 billion euro turnover. And so Limagrain Field Seeds is this year, with a big growth from last year, is 1.3 billion euro turnover, plus partnerships that we have. So where we are a minority shareholder, but where we partner with other companies. And so that's the size of the company. We are present in Europe, which is our original footprint. And we are also present in the US, in Africa, in South America, in China, in India. So we are now global company present in all the continents, in all the main markets. Like 5,000 people are working for this organization. And maybe an important figure to have in mind is that we are investing 16% of our turnover in research, which is a huge investment for a company like us. And that gives us the means to have a perspective and a strong ambition. So you asked me about the ambition. So we aim to reach 2 billion for Limagrain Field Seeds, 2 billion euro turnover in 2030. Going on investing in research. So the more we will have a big business, so the more we'll be able to invest in research. That's the objective. And so that's the main ambition, is to go on developing on those markets.
Nice. Good luck with that ambition. But of course, if you want to grow, you need to make sure that your products are better, not only good, but better than the rest. How do you make sure that your products are better than the competition?
So the products, how do I make sure the products are better than the competition? First, I have to invest in research. I mean, and again, as I said previously, the farmers, owners of Limagrain, they do believe that we need to invest a lot in research. And so that's what we are doing with a long-term vision. We are investing in all the continents, in all the climates. And so we have proposals, and we breed products which are able to fit in every climate, in every agronomic situation worldwide. So that's a first point. And maybe the second point is to also help the farmers to grow our products in the right place with the right techniques and the right cultivation system.
So you advise them?
Yeah, of course we advise them. So not only good products, but good products, if you don't explain the farmers, if you don't help the farmers to take the best out of it, it makes no sense. And, the agronomy is a very important criteria, and more, of course, we invest a lot in breeding, but more and more we are investing also in understanding how to grow better our products, and so that the farmers can have the best results.
But you mentioned 16% of your turnover reinvest in R&D. That is massive. It's really massive. There are not many industries that have such a high percentage.
No. That's very huge, and again, that's very huge for a company like Limagrain. We are not the big player in this market, and so that's why we have to be very careful with what we invest and how we invest. So we are a pure seed player. So those 16% are really focused in improving the genetics and the products we are proposing to farmers.
Okay, Régis, let's switch gears a bit towards sustainability. An often used word, and I'm not sure if everybody is using the same definition for that, but it is of course triggered by strong consumer wishes, by political developments, and lots of seed companies are making that transition towards a higher level of sustainability. How is that working in Limagrain?
Well, in Limagrain, that's I don't know what is the definition, the exact definition, but in Limagrain, it's a word that makes sense because sustainability. I understand that this is an activity or it is a business that has to last long and to renew and to be still here in the future. And as I said in the beginning, Limagrain is a cooperative owned by farmers. They want to give as a legacy the company to their kids. And that's really what they tell us. It's not it's kind of a specific shareholding for a company. And so sustainability means a lot. And so, of course, as you said, it's a concern for the society. It's a concern for the politicians. So we have to prove that we are sustainable, even if it is in our DNA. So what we are working on, of course, is in our new strategic plan is on the carbon footprint. That's a very important topic, responsible for the climate change. So we are now working on fixing objectives to reduce our carbon footprints. One first axis to work on is the industrial facilities, of course. We have a very big project that is being launched at the moment. We will completely renew our historical plant in Auvergne. We will have in the coming years the most modern plant and maybe the most also sustainable in terms of energy saving. So one of the objectives is to save 40% of the energy that we spend in drying and processing our seeds in this plant. So that's a big gap. The current one is an old one, but really we are focusing on having the most modern tools to succeed in this objective. So that's of course something classical. When we renewed the headquarters of Limagrain, or when we made the new headquarters of Limagrain, also it is a very sustainable building where we save a lot of energy. So it's a bit hot in the summer sometimes because the air cooling is not that efficient, but still saving a lot of energy. And of course, after it's our day-to-day job as well as a breeder, as a breeding company. I mean, to breed new varieties that will give more yield with less inputs and with less footprint. That's what we are doing, and that's what we've been doing for decades. And so that's our day-to-day job. Another point which is important, and we do believe in it, is the multi-crop approach. If we want to help the farmers, so our customers, to be more sustainable, we need to think of their crop rotation and the species they are using in their farms. We are not just selling corn or sunflower or rapeseed or wheat. We are selling a global offer that will help the farmers also to preserve the fertility of their soils or even to improve it. So that's what we are working on. And again, I mentioned that previously, the agronomy is becoming a very strong concern and areas of focus for us. And also it helps the activities of the farmers to be more sustainable. Yeah.
Great, nice to hear. I'm sure they're very happy with that.
I do believe, yes, sure.
Régis, a big discussion in Europe is how we can increase Europe's production of plant protein. And earlier this morning, we had a panel discussion here at the Euroseeds Congress. The European Commission is going to write a proposal for the first quarter next year. What kind of impact does those developments have on Limagrain?
Well, as a multi-crop company, of course, plant protein is part of our offer, and we consider that we have to develop the species that are protein crops, like the legumes, of course, because we need more protein for the consumers, more plant protein for the consumers, but also because those crops allow to save fertilizers. And so that's also a very important reason to invest more and more in those crops. So in Limagrain, we made a very important agreement, partnership with the Saskatoon pulses growers 2 years ago. They are in Canada, as you understand, and the Canada is the first, far beyond all the other, first country to produce peas and beans. And so we are now, we can say, the leader with this partnership with SPG, the world leader in peas genetics. So we are now improving this genetic, this germplasm that they have, improving with them, in partnering with them. So we do believe in this. That's a long-term investment, because that's not a very interesting market, attractive market in terms of return on investment, not yet. So in Canada, yes, but also we are working on this in Europe. And in Europe, as you may know, there is not really a big market for peas. It's like tens of millions euros of market, while the market is several billion. So that's a very small part of the market. But we have to be interested in that. We have to invest in that because Europe will need proteins and also because of saving fertilizers. So as there is no market, how do we reward or do we justify the investment? I think we need political decisions. So you mentioned that this morning there was a panel, and there is, yes, a strong willingness at European level to develop proteins, and we need that. I mean, it has to be more profitable to grow protein in Europe than to import the protein from somewhere else. So we need a political decision and political support to that. After that, I think that's a big challenge. We should, for instance, double the yield of peas if we want to make it profitable, or at least if we want to bring our share of burden to grow the profitability of the peas. And so for that, we need. I think I'm convinced that we need to partner. And that's part of the values of Limagrain. Cooperation is a value. So we do believe that for this big challenge, we need to partner. And so we are discussing with other seed companies to implement big programs to develop the yield, the disease resistance, the resilience of varieties of crop protein plants. And clearly, we will succeed only if we make it sustainable. And to make it sustainable, we need to implement a new royalty collection system on the legumes and on the protein crops, which is not existing at the moment. And that's one of the reasons why there is no value on the market. And we need we can start investing, but we need to see at a moment where will be the return on investment.
Interesting. Will be interesting how it will play out in the future and where the pulses market is going.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, we also have to talk, when we talk about protein plants, we have to talk about soybean. And clearly soybean is 1/4 of the market at world level. So that's a huge market. And of course, we are interested in this market. We are investing currently in breeding in tropical soybeans. But of course, as for the other protein crops, the market in temperate area where there's no GM, so like in Europe, is not very profitable. So same topic, but we have to keep in mind that soybean is the biggest, far beyond all the other, biggest provider of protein plants at world level. So let's consider also this species in Europe.
We talked a little bit about the future. Now I want to take a thought leap towards 2030. Wow. In 2030, what does Limagrain Field Seeds look like?
Well, I don't know if I'm the CEO because I don't know if I will be retired, but what will it look like in 2030? So we are in 2030. Limagrain is the first pure seed player worldwide. Limagrain has become global. 10 years ago, it was mainly Europe, which was the business in Limagrain Field Seeds. Now in 2030, North America, South America are pillars. China, Brazil, I mentioned, Africa, of course. So we are present in all the market, all the continents. I don't want to forget India. And so those markets are all contributing to Limagrain Field Seeds in a more balanced way than it was 10 years ago. Still in 2030, we have a very performant multi-crop offer for the farmers, and we have also the best advices to help them to take the best out of our products. And maybe I would like to mention at the end, so Limagrain, the employees in Limagrain are still very passionate by their work, by their company, by their business, and they still believe that Limagrain is a great place to work.
Great outlook. Good luck with that.
Thank you, Marcel. We'll work on it. Thank you.